The question is, can you smoke vegetables? I am here to test this theory. I am going to smoke both tomatoes and red peppers separately, as well as onion and garlic, to make 2 types of soup today and see how they turn out on the smoker versus just doing it at home in a pot or roasting your veggies. Think it'll work? Let's find out. I'm preparing this exactly the way I would if I was making it in the oven. So I've got my Roma tomatoes cut up into halves. I've got some onion and garlic cloves, salt, pepper, and a good drizzle of olive oil. My Traeger is set at 300 degrees, and I didn't know how long it would take being the first time making this. So I sort of took a peek at about an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes, and I saw I got some great color. Everything was cooking out. The vegetables were getting nice and soft. So I took them off, and this was when I transferred everything into a stock pot. Now, when it comes to adding your liquid, I'm using vegetable stock, and I only want to add enough that my vegetables are still poking out at the top so that I don't have too runny of a soup. I'm letting it simmer for about 20-25 minutes, just getting all those flavors together, getting the stock nice and hot before I take an immersion blender to this soup. I absolutely love this method of soup because everything stays in one pot. I do not have to do a lot of dishes and I get the results that I want with a nice, thick, creamy soup, but it still has some texture and chunks from those veggies in it. Now, you don't need to turn off the Traeger if you're trying this at home as well, because I'm gonna do the exact same thing with sweet red peppers. Exact. Just switched the tomatoes for red peppers. Same stock, a little extra seasoning on these ones, and a nice simmer and blend. Now, the one thing that you might notice if you use an immersion blender, you are gonna have that texture still a little chunky, some pieces of those peppers or tomatoes in there, and I love that. But if you want it really creamy and smooth, 2 things you can do. You can transfer it into a regular blender and give it a real good zap, and you can also add some heavy cream or milk into your soup after blending it to give it that rich velvety sort of texture. I love making this in batches because I can freeze and store them. And with soup, I absolutely love grilled cheese too. Okay, the moment of truth. Let's give this a taste. And yes, I slurped my soup. It tastes just like regular soup, but with a little hint of smoke. I think it's delicious.